what's up, everybody? It's your boy DZ. Welcome to the Just Blunt Podcast, episode 3 of the video podcast. As you can see, I am still under my own self-imposed lockdown. I don't care what they open up, I'm not going. I'm gonna take my glasses off for this episode, though. I ain't shaved, no haircut, but I'm here with my people. First, we got Mr. Darrell Rice back in the building. Y'all can actually see the brother this time. How you doing?
What's good? What's good?
That man, and then we got Crazy Joe in the building. What's good, Joe?
What's happening, family?
All right, and then we got Mr. Rod Dog, who we actually, Rodney Cummings, we filmed the episode yesterday, but it was no sound, so we coming back. So, Rodney, this is technically your first episode. Everybody give Rodney a hand. Welcome to the Just Blunt Podcast.
Yeah. The white version of me. What up? You the white version of me, goddammit.
Oh, man.
This is episode 4 for you, right? I like rapping, dog.
We got a few things to talk about today. Last night, of course, you know, the next 2 episodes, 3 and 4 of The Last Dance went down. We had the NFL draft close out the week and then go over the weekend. We want to talk about the biggest winners and losers from the NFL draft this year, which I'm pretty sure we got some interesting opinions on that. And we have hit battles coming up. We got Diddy and Dre on the way, but also we're having this conversation about Drake versus Jay-Z, which is the longer we go into quarantine, I think it's going to be a bigger probability of that happening. Darrell Rice, though, we're going to start with you. How you doing, sir? You said you're doing good this morning?
Oh yeah, I'm doing good. You know, I'm still, you know, coming down from my high from the Last Dance. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's just a beautiful thing going right. And you know, just like Jordan, he always comes to say today, we was bored as fuck watching the same rehash, you know, old ass basketball games, and he come out with the Last Dance. And it's an educational piece too. I just want to put that out there. For a lot of motherfuckers in the group now, Milt Swain, but I ain't gonna get into details.
You wild.
But you know, I'm gonna leave that alone for right now. But you know, it's a beautiful thing. I'm just staying out the way.
Okay. Well, my question for you is, last night you said you felt like there were some disrespectful things said. Of course, not everybody is looking at The Last Dance the way you are. You do have the Milt Swains and Willie Flights of the world, and myself, because in my opinion, this documentary is completely destroying every argument you've ever had with LeBron James or Michael Jordan or any of that. So what was your take from last night's episode, and what do you think is really disrespectful being said about it?
What was my take from it? I think it was we kind of knew the like I said, this whole thing is basically, we rarely get to see Michael Jordan in public, let alone get an interview to somebody. So this is basically like his documentary, but it's just wrapped around the '98 season. They kind of like just dabble in the '98 season to me, but they also like just focusing on the main characters and their background stories and stuff, which we kind of know a lot about Dennis Rodman at the time. I love the story about when he, you know, Dennis Rodman went over to 48 hours and Jordan was like, you know what, get your ass to practice. And he went over there and pulled up on it and got him out the bed. That was my favorite part of that last night.
But Rodman didn't cry last night.
What? What do you mean Rodman didn't cry?
Well,
he's not emotional.
Every documentary that Rodman speaks in, he has a period of time where he's like, you know, I had that little boy. I did, you know, he get that, like he get like that.
I think it's I don't know. They kind of just kept it at the surface on his upbringing. Yeah, I remember the 30 for 30. They talked about like his sisters dressed him in dresses and stuff like that. I didn't know like he contemplated killing himself when he was with the Pistons. That was something new to me. He said he fell asleep at the wheel with the gun in the car and the police.
That was crazy. Pearl Jam was the only thing that stopped him from killing himself. I thought that was pretty dope. I was a big fan of Pearl Jam. Okay, we're going to come back to you. I want to get Joey's take on everything he saw last night before he actually went.
Goddamn, I ain't, you know, I called it, you know. I called it. I ain't going to say a lie. Man, from the disrespect, I still love it, man. You know, I'm glad I'm getting a chance to see Jordan last season surrounded by, you know, unlimited access that goddamn, you know, it's entertaining to me. I'm sorry, man. And these, I got to disagree with you. I don't remember seeing Dennis Rodman crying on his 30 for 30 series, bro. Like, I really don't. He had his own. That's what we found out. I think I was the one that
watch it. Go back and watch it under this $5 bet, and then I need my shit cash out.
Nah, I don't want to bet you. Never mind. Anyway. But anyway, I think I'm the one that said it out there about his sisters, because everybody was going in on him when I said that he had Carmen Electra and Madonna in their prime. That's GOAT shit, and I still stand on that.
I seen that. I did see that. You was right about that. I had to love that.
And everybody was going in on him talking about he was gay and shit. Like, he just transformed to being gay. Like, nah, his sisters brought him in that world and shit. Pearl Jam didn't stop him from committing suicide. But in and out, bro, I'm going to say this. I might get ridiculed. I might get disagreed with. Dennis Rodman saved Jordan legacy. It wasn't Scottie Pippen. Them boys clearly made it to the point, and they both said it. They didn't give a damn about the hatred.
You saying that with a straight face?
I'm saying, yeah, put the camera back on your ass, because, you know, there's a debate about it, man. There's a debate about it. These are, you can mute yourself.
You gotta see the look on Rodney's face, too. Rodney over here like, hold on. Look. You see
hey, look, Rodney looking at me crazy, too. All right, okay. I said
you tripping.
I'm saying that with a straight face, my guy. Dennis Rodman.
Where my blood pressure medicine at?
Right. Roll up.
Y'all not letting me.
Okay.
I got somebody got to be that guy. So
you gotta be that guy, and I dig it. Okay, we're gonna come back real quick. Hold on. Rod Dog. This nigga Joy, man, he done got it started already. Rodney. Okay, I know you said you missed a couple of episodes of The Last Dance, but you was around for that era of the Bulls, man. What are your thoughts on Dennis Rodman? Do you think that he actually saved Michael Jordan's legacy? Was he the one? Was it not Scottie Pippen?
Let me just break it down for him real clearly. Pippen was out for 30 plus games that year, the Last Dance. They only won 7 games in that span. Rodman was there. You sitting there telling me that Rodman is what made his legacy? Come on, bro. Come on, bro. They ran the table.
Go watch it. They started out 8-7 when Scottie Pippen set out. Their record was 8-7. By the time he went to Michael Jordan's hotel room and he didn't apologize, they said Dennis Rodman did not have an apologetic spirit. You know, he just came to him and asked him for a cigar. That's his way of apologizing. Next thing you know, the Bulls' record was 19-8. Dennis Rodman wasn't what?
And he wasn't. When Pippen came back, they ran the table, bro. When Pippen came back, they ran the table.
Listen, basketball is winning off what? Basketball is winning off what?
They feed off teammates. That's how they.
Don't jump the question. Answer with a simple answer. You know it too, because you smiled. Basketball is jumped off what? It's won off what? I mean,
defense.
I'm muting me and Darrell. We just gonna watch this shit.
Who brought the center of that to that team?
Shoot, that was already there. Pippen and Jordan was defensive players of the year. They both were defensive players of the year. Rodman was an important piece. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that he wasn't, but he was a more of a mind case for like the mailman and anybody else that he was going up against. And yeah, his defense was great, but he was better at rebounding the ball other than defense or anything else.
I will say this. Hold on. One more second, Deezy. Riddle me this. Let's just play a part and say Rodman never joined the fucking Bulls. You still see them winning 3 straight?
Probably not, no, but I think they would have won 1 or 2. I think that. But I'm not saying that he wasn't.
What's Jordan's legacy? What's his legacy? 6-0, right? 6-0.
Yeah, but before he was there, they won 3 straight. If Jordan never retired, they would have won 5 straight. And then when they got Rodman, they would have won 8 straight.
He should have retired. We don't know that.
No, but you know, and I know, if Jordan never retired, they would have won 8 fucking straight NBA championships, no doubt in anybody's mind. No doubt.
When the retired is like an if was a fifth. God damn it. He retired.
I'm just keeping it real. But I'm not saying Rodman wasn't important.
You is.
Okay. Rodman was an important piece. And I'm not saying he wasn't. but every people that was on that team the last 3 years was an important piece for them to do what they did. You know what I'm saying?
Now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna bring in Darrell right now, y'all. Thank you for that exchange. I love it. Darrell, I have a question for you because me and you, we're huge Jordan fans. I was a huge Bulls fan back then. Do you agree with Joey that Rodman was the one that saved his legacy and not Pippen? In my opinion, I don't think Mike's legacy actually needed saving at any point. I'm sorry, Joey. Let me unmute you. Go ahead.
We talking 6-0. That's his legacy. That's why everybody put Jordan at the mouth. Yeah, because he's undefeated when it counts. He never seen 6 games in the NBA Finals. We're talking shit like that. I'm not talking nothing else. We talking 6-0. Okay. Kobe is 5-7. That's what I'm saying.
We got
Rodman never joined. Go ahead.
Okay. I got to mute Joey because that nigga going off. Okay, Darrell, tell me about your thoughts on everything that just transpired.
Joey is being disrespectful.
Woo! Uh-oh. I know it was coming.
His legacy was already set. He won MVP and defensive MVP in the same year in '88. Now Rodman was an important piece, like Rodney said, and Rodney helped him keep the Bulls afloat. And I think Pippen, he missed over half that season. So, but his legacy wouldn't have been tarnished. The 6-0, I do get that part, what you saying about that. But Rodman didn't save his damn legacy. They could have kept Horace Grant. It might have been. Horace Grant was a better offensive player than Rodman.
You just said that the 6-0 part you get. So you just basically proved my point. That's his legacy. He wouldn't have went 3. He wouldn't have won 3 more straight if Rodman wouldn't have joined that team. That's what I'm saying.
So are you saying that Rodman's better than Horace Grant offensively? Rodman was doing the extracurricular stuff like rebounds, defense.
Don't just throw Rodman out. Don't just throw his name out there like he was just a fucking Horace Grant. Don't do that. Don't you do that. Don't you do that. That's disrespectful. That's disrespectful.
You being disrespectful right now. You being disrespectful.
Horace Grant was a problem, Joe. He was the one leading the Bulls in offensive rebounding every single year, leading the league in offensive rebounds every year, giving the Bulls second chance after second chance. He was that defensive force in the first.
Horace Grant game with Rodman. Don't do that.
He makes the for real, bro. He actually went to the All-Star game one year, so he's an NBA All-Star.
That's good.
He averaged a double-double.
All-Star game one year. You know what I'm saying?
So Horace Grant
definitely a vital piece in their first 3 runs. I don't care what nobody say.
Definitely.
I feel y'all, but I don't think that second 3-peat could have happened.
You don't think so?
Mm-mm.
I don't know, man. I think when you combine the triangle,
as it is,
Pippen, anything, and Michael Jordan, anything's possible.
As it is, then which 3-peat was better than y'all? Since y'all do think
the first, in my opinion, I'll start with me. In my opinion, the first 3-peat was definitely the more entertaining 3-peat because it was more dominant. Even though the Bulls had the 72-10 season in the second 3-peat, but in that first 3-peat. There was no team that was even close. The last 2 years of the 97-98 season and 96-97 season, the Bulls were still great, but you could tell the rest of the league was starting to get closer.
Oh yeah,
they were starting to catch up. Jordan's getting older, Pippen's getting older, Rodman's getting older. But that first 3-peat, Jordan and Pippen was in they prime.
That first 3-peat, I ain't say though.
You can have Clyde Drexler and a deep-ass Portland team that didn't have a shot in the world against the Bulls because Pippen and Mike was just that damn good.
Agreed.
So I think, in my opinion, I think the first one. What about you, Darrell?
Yeah, I feel like for the same reasons that you gave the first one, and also it was like the journey because we saw the process of him getting put out by the Pistons a couple times, and then when he finally got one, me not even being a Bulls fan, I was just a fan of the player. I was just happy for him. And then, once he saw the Matrix, to use that metaphor, it was just on and cracking then.
Rodney?
Yeah.
It's on you.
So he must have muted me out because I didn't hear nothing. But, I'll agree, too, with the first. The first was more, I don't know. The first 3, it was like the hunger was there with them, especially the first one against the Lakers. on how dominant they was against the Lakers that year. You know what I'm saying, in the championship. So, and then after that, it was just like they just went on a reign, you know. And
I dig all y'all answers. So Deezy, you can unmute all y'all again. So basically, why the hell we talking about The Last Dance? If y'all feel the first one was so popular, why that one ain't documented? Why that one ain't?
I mean, because the Last Dance, I think The Last Dance really just showcases Jerry Krause as the villain. And I mean, because you got to think, all of us as Jordan fans back in the day, we all knew that was probably their last season together, and we used to wonder, like, damn, why they don't want to keep the Bulls together? Like, why? Like, what's going on? Like, why?
Yeah, like, what's wrong? The dude was a cheap bastard, and he didn't want to pay nobody.
I think really, this documentary is not just meant to, like, educate the YouTube generation, but it's meant to, like, give all of us answers who really had no idea. Like, why the fuck do they want to break this team up?
I read the
that was the same question I had.
Yeah.
I read the comments so far from it, and it says, so far, The Last Dance is quite entertaining, but it lacks any form of a true story arc. It freely jumps from MJ last season as a Bull to his final victory in college life. The story gets muddy, and it's a set of convoluted depiction of MJ's career. So
okay, what nerdy ass internet critic wrote that shit?
And
where the hell are you reading that from?
Thousands of likes. He got the most likes out of everybody in this shit. Like, you know, I don't know him, you know.
Well, I can make a piece of shit.
Like, he's saying like we getting like the pretty side of the story.
Yeah.
We ain't getting like the true devoted, you know, uncut.
I just know I'm thoroughly entertained by it. I'm feeling The Last Dance. And
I love it. I love it personally. I can't wait for COVID, you know. So I know none of y'all ain't gonna be able to tell me shit.
Brian ass ain't gonna never stop playing. We ain't gonna get a Brian documentary till 2056. Shit.
Exactly. Yeah.
Damn, that
shit gonna be a dinosaur.
Gonna be The Last Dance because we gonna be dead by the time that bitch come out. Okay, but anyway, moving on, y'all. We talked about beat battles before, or not beat battles, but hit battles before. Last week on the show, we talked about Dr. Dre versus Diddy and who we thought would win that battle and why. So now we're going back to something we actually chopped it up a little bit about yesterday. Drake versus Jay-Z. Drake versus Jay-Z. I need for Darrell and Rodney, I need for y'all to put y'all old school biases just like I'm going to do for Jay-Z. I'm going to put that to the side. We just going to talk hit for hit. You know what I'm saying? So whoever, you know, thinks will win that battle, we're going to start with Rodney. I want to know who you think will win a hit battle between Jay-Z and Drake and why. It's all on you, bro.
Yeah, well, like I was thinking, it's complicated because you got to go with longevity. As long as that Jay-Z has been in the game, you're talking about the mid-'90s until now and still going. It's crazy that he's still going this long, but he's still doing it. So, but, you know, Drake has surpassed everybody when it comes to hits, like single hits. And if we just talking about single hits and everything, we ain't talking about how it impacted the culture or lyricism, you know what I'm saying? You gotta give it to Drake. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, my only reason for that is because heck, he drops a song every month and it's a hit.
It's always an
you know what I'm saying? So
it's just like that Tootsie Slide. Like he dropped that shit and it instantly becomes the #1 stream song used.
Exactly.
He did that shit for the TikTok generation. Okay, yeah. Joey, we're gonna go to you. Who do you think will win a battle between Jay-Z and Drake? And why? It's on you, bro.
Drake. Oh, the better artist. I'm gonna keep it simple and short.
You said I'm gonna just keep it like it is.
Drake will win the hit battle. I'm not disrespecting Hov's career. I'm not disrespecting his art.
How we feel about Hov all the time.
You know, I swear Hov, you know, I think. Oh, I can say it again, you know. Shit. Yeah, man, like I said last time, I just thought about what you told me. Goddamn. Yeah. I just thought about it. But like I said last time, man, you can play H to the Izzo, you know, versus a Drake feature. His feature, let alone just a it won't be a competition. But
I actually got to give it to your boy. What's his name? Reezy. I got to give it to your boy Reezy on this one because Reezy called that shit out on his profile a couple of weeks ago. And at first, I wanted to be just because it was Reezy, I wanted to disagree. You know what I'm saying? But I thought about it and I commented on the post. I said, "Damn, bro, You right. You right. Like hit for hit, I had to even Google it. Like it's damn near not even close. Hit for hit.
Don't disrespect Hov's artwork. I swear to God, you know, this is Crazy Joe himself. You would never hear me say a pattern artist is better than a hip hop legend. You would never, even though that hip hop legend has, you know, his own flaws of his own, but you know, the lyrics that he mock is from the dead. You know, he's not out here with a whole team.
Yeah.
You know,
like documented ghostwriters and shit. And to me, that's what always would disqualify.
And I'm still sticking on that with Drake. And I have nothing against Drake at all.
You gotta hold that against it. Because to me, Drake is not even the best like MC of his generation. You gotta start with Kendrick and Cole first and then go to Drake. But even then, you got others that's better than Drake because they write their own shit, 100% of their own shit. You know?
I'm not sold on Drake still. Like, you know, I guess it's a Simmons thing. DMX said it too. Like,
I feel you. Okay, Darrell, your opinion. Jay-Z versus Drake. Who you got and why, my brother?
I think they two totally different artists. So I mean, it's Drake, and like you said, it's not even close. I mean, he's just so tapped into what the people want to listen. I mean, I can't even think of a song that he ever came out, let alone an album, even though I don't agree or don't like or don't feel what a lot of the stuff he say on his albums, like with the singing shit and all that stuff like that. But like, I don't even think he had a whack album right now. You know what I mean?
Nah.
Same reason for Hove too. But I think they just so totally different. And like you said, like there's a difference between an MC and a hit maker. Like Drake is a hit maker. You know, but if you could get him to like, and he does also say stuff with substance like that. Over My Dead Body is one of my favorite songs. I would like to see Drake and Rick Ross more than Drake and G.
You know what? That actually that's a hit battle to me that would actually make a lot more sense.
Bias as fuck, and I'm going with the home team.
I'm gonna go with Rose. They both claim they're not lyricists, but they damn sure it's the best hit makers out there. Like, it's like anytime Ross come out with something, I'm already getting it. Like he could be humming.
Yeah,
like I'm downloading it.
He's
like,
one of the few rappers that's still going #1 when this project dropped. You know, he's one of the few rappers that's still doing that.
Yeah, but Rick Ross can actually rap. So, you know what I'm saying? He's definitely a better lyricist.
That's enough. Like, Rick Ross is a ghostwriter. He done wrote for Dr. Dre and, you know what I'm saying, other motherfuckers and shit like that. So
right.
He wrote Dr. Dre?
Yeah. A lot of the stuff that was gonna end up being on that Detox album that ended up on Compton. You know what I'm saying? Like Ross actually got a couple writing credits on that shit. Like, and he's wrote for other people too. Like Ross is a ghostwriter. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
and what's still not to cut you off, what's still tripping me out about Rick Ross though, like I don't know if y'all used to listen to Slip and Slide. Like when he was with Slip and Slide, like his flow then compared to now is totally different.
Oh yeah.
Like if you listen to Take It to the House, that remix where he was on there, he was rapping like Bone Thugs like type of things, like ass and stuff. Yeah. But then like now he just like transformed. It's just like.
And that's what got him to the point to where he's at now, man. That transformation, bro. He was like Wayne. He had to become something different than everybody else that was on.
Right. You know, Jay-Z was the same way though.
Yeah.
Wayne wasn't trash though. Wayne was, you know, go to that 15. Goddamn. Wayne was.
I'm just saying, like Wayne, like Hot Boys Wayne. And then
they grow up basically.
Like Hot Boys Wayne was like, and he was like the male Missy Elliott and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like he was fun to listen to, but he wasn't like a dope MC by no means. And
right.
Nowhere, like after Juvie and them left, that nigga literally like you could tell when he said he was the best rapper alive, you actually wanted to like believe that shit. Like, bruh, this little nigga is spitting. Ain't nobody fucking with him right now.
Oh, at that time when he said it on Carter 2, he was just because our priority M1 dropping that.
I just remember like mixtape after mixtape of me listening to Lil Wayne versus High as Fuck and thinking like, bruh, this little motherfucker is a maniac, bro. Do you hear this shit?
Right.
It made niggas like
Bingo, Ocho Cinco. Nigga, like what?
He made niggas like Jay-Z wake up, you feel me, like, and do like what bruh's saying he's gonna do. Reclaim his throne. You feel me? Like shit like that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, even though Wayne showed him his problems, I'm the best rapper alive to the best rapper retired. Now I want to see who's gonna want to hit battle Lil Wayne. That would be dope. You know what I'm saying? So we could bring up hit battles later, but we're gonna go ahead and close this episode out, fellas. I want to thank everybody, every single one of y'all for coming through. Darrell, Rod, thank you. Until we do this again next time, fellas, make sure y'all tell everybody y'all know, and I'm going to let everybody watching this video know right now. Hit the subscribe button on YouTube. We trying to get these numbers up, man. We trying to get big, you know, at least big for us. You know, let's at least get to 100 subscribers this week, you feel me? But we going to share this everywhere, Strictly Sports and Hip Hop, Just Blunt Podcast, DZ Darrell, Rod Dog, Crazy Joe. We out.
All right.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Just Blunt Podcast. It is your boy DZ in the building. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button and the little bell next to the subscribe button so you can get alerts when we come with new content. It is the Just Blunt Podcast special edition because we had an episode earlier that's going to be released, but then you got to check this out. A special part of that was just not really talked about the way it should have been. The Detroit Pistons were portrayed in last night's episode of The Last Dance, the documentary about the Chicago Bulls on ESPN. Rod Logan is here with me right now, the most devout Detroit Pistons fan I've ever met in my life. Rod Logan, how you doing, my brother?
What's going on, everybody? What's going on?
Hey, man, it's all good over here, still quarantine living. But I got to get your take on last night's episode of The Last Dance. And do you think that the Pistons came out looking good or looking bad in this?
I don't think they came out looking good, but I can't say bad either. I'll start off with they didn't come out looking good because we all know what they got exposed of what they was doing. You know what I'm saying? Of course, the biggest thing was the sportsmanship. You know, we can talk about how real shit get going off the streets, all that bullshit. Good sportsmanship carries a long way globally. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing we got to eat up and get over. You know what I'm saying? So obviously that exposed, you know what I'm saying, the bad part of Detroit Pistons.
Okay, I got a question about that. When you talk about sportsmanship, everybody's been talking about this. The entire incident of the Bulls finally beating the Pistons and the Pistons walking off the court, not saying anything, not shaking hands or any of that. Jordan's side of it is they were complete assholes for doing that, and he's never liked any of them since then, with the exception, of course, you know, Dennis Rodman, when it came to Jordan and Rodman, that was a business relationship. They wasn't like cool by no means. But you know, and Isaiah's side of it is, you know, hey, the Celtics did it to them and nobody said anything, but when the Pistons did it, they made a big deal out of it.
I love it.
In my opinion, I side with Isaiah. What about you?
I'm exactly with Isaiah, and I love that because, first off, as a Pistons fan, we're going to ride, of course, regardless, you know what I mean, because they felt like it was them against the world, and that's how the fan base felt. You know what I'm saying? Felt and feel to this day. You know what I'm saying? However, he was right, man. The Boston Celtics did do that to them, but they was one of the poster teams, you know what I'm saying? So they got to get away with it and nobody talked about it to this day. Even when it got exposed, that ain't even the topic of the conversation. It's about what the Detroit Pistons do. So you're completely right on that. You know what I'm saying?
Now think about this, Rod. Okay, and this is my question. Again, this is my question. People will call me a hater or a Jordan hater or a super Bron fan, and I'm out of my mind and I don't know what I'm talking about. But in all the debates that we have been in our group on Facebook, Strictly Sports and Hip Hop, salute to everybody in the group. But to all the debates that we've been in, I have maintained certain points consistently throughout the years because I lived through and watched these players go through these experiences, just like you did.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that Phil Jackson, Tex Winter, and the Triangle Offense are the most important parts of both the Bulls and the Lakers 2000 dynasties. Bottom line, without it, Jordan's not a champion, Kobe and Shaq are not champions, period. You know what I'm saying? So that instantly just kills a bunch of the, you know, Bron hate and over Jordan love that I'm talking about.
And that ain't no disrespect on them too.
No, it's no disrespect.
Yeah.
Now, number two. Now, me being an ultimate Jordan fan, just like I'm an ultimate Bron fan, I have to admit when right is right and wrong is wrong. When it comes to the Detroit Pistons, I know how good it felt getting past the Detroit Pistons. I mean, obviously not as good as one of the players, but as a fan back then, it was just like, thank you, Jesus. We finally got past them. I seen what Detroit did to Chicago. I seen how Detroit is. They're just as much of a reason as for Jordan maturing as Doug Collins and Phil Jackson is.
Right.
Like Chicago owes Detroit a lot. They made the Bulls what they ended up becoming.
Right.
Because they pushed them to the edge. So
And
for Jordan, yeah, go ahead.
My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
But that's the thing right there you touched on. You know, Chicago owes that to them. And I think the biggest bitter part about it, especially with Isaiah, he was the Chicago kid, key to the city. Arguably the best basketball player to ever come from the city.
Yeah.
No disrespect to D Rose, but look what Isaiah did and finished. You know what I'm saying? Isaiah was hurt his whole career. 2 titles, could have been 3. You know what I mean? So he looking at somebody in his hometown, and he got family members, you know, wearing the Bulls stuff, and Jordan running things. So
yeah,
he gonna feel like, you know, they never gave him that credit for making them better. They told the cameras that. You can see Isaiah saying that stuff on TV. They told the cameras that. Ain't nobody ever told him that. You know what I'm saying?
And I remember there was a comment that Isaiah Thomas made to Michael Jordan one time, like, yeah, you might be in Chicago, but I'm going to show you how Chicago play. And I'm sorry, that is one little man that gets grossly under-talked about in, you know, conversations when it comes to greatest of all time, and we talk about greatest point guards of all time. Like, yeah, I know Steph Curry can shoot from 98,000 feet, but, you know, there's a reason why people respected AI, and it was that same heart that was in Isaiah Thomas that we seen years and years before AI.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, for the YouTube generation, or for those of us old folks that have a very short memory, Dorito rights, you know what I'm saying? You really got to, like, go into these things, and this documentary is exposing a lot of people's knowledge.
Let's keep in mind, we talking about a diehard Bulls fan back in the day, diehard Pistons fan.
Mm-hmm.
I hated Mike.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You hated Z.
Yeah.
But keeping it real is called keeping it real.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of the day,
and I've been the same way with several players and coaches and teams over the years in any sport. You know what I'm saying? Even if I don't like you personally, or if you've done something, I'm just like, oh man, that's lame as fuck. I gotta respect you for, you know, the results that you get when you are on the court, which at the end of the day is your job before anything else. You know what I'm saying? So my brother, I want to thank you for coming through, chopping it up real quick with me on the Pistons, man. Much love. Nice red shirt, man. Or I'm gonna have to get you to send me something down here, bro. You gotta send me something.
Man, it's on the
Ohio
list.
stuff. All right,
I got one more thing. For you.
Yes, sir. What are you about to pull out? What you got? My brother.
Yeah, this will come with the shirt. And I need everybody to get this.
I'm sending you my address as we speak right now. Hey, make sure you get that to me, man. That's what I'm talking about. We got a book of the week on the Just Blunt podcast, too. All right, much love, Rod. Salute. Just Blunt. Hit the subscribe button. We out.
Yes, sir.